Join two sisters who explore the couples that fandoms adore. We write their stories in the night, in the glow of computer light. Eyes connect, clothing flies, in our head canon love never dies. Space looks that leave us pining, in deep forums we are mining. For this journey, better strap in, because we all know that shit happens.
Welcome to the podcast that explores the couples fans can't stop dreaming about from the pop culture you love. Because when it comes to your favorite video game turned TV show, again, Ship happens.
We're your host. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Emily.
She likes nerd culture.
And she likes making podcasts. So we thought we'd join forces to make a podcast about popular online ships. So we normally come to this segment kind of with no ideas, but we have like a lot of ideas this week, I guess.
We do. Before we dig into our big ship this week, we like to talk about some ships we got going on right now. What are we reading? What are we watching? What are we consuming? And what are the couples we're shipping in them? So Emily, you got something this week.
Right. So I have two. So you have one too, right?
Oh, you got two. Okay.
Yes.
If I have two, I'm saving one in my back pocket. I don't get to watch that much stuff. Mine is really short, so I will just knock it out right away and don't overthink it. Just ride with it. Bert and Ernie. Just chef's kiss. That is a great couple. And it's not new content to me, but I've been revisiting Sesame Street through my children, and I'm like, damn, they're just like such a wholesome couple. Ernie, I mean, very obviously a gay couple too in hindsight. Ernie likes taking long, luxurious baths. Bert collects bottle caps and raises pigeons or something along those lines. He likes to hang out with pigeons. I'm like, okay, go off. Like, that's so cute. Like, I definitely see them together.
Like classic odd couple. I mean, right? They were sharing an apartment together in a time when even like married heterosexual couples didn't share a bed. 'Cause I remember they had their beds were next to each other.
They're separate beds. Yeah.
So, maybe it's the same.
And and Ernie's the free spirit.
Classic.
Bert's the, more tight-laced one, the type A. Mm-hmm. Ernie's type B. Opposites attract. It's just so wholesome. Like, even
Make
just
it work.
I'm picking it up just from this like counting book. I'm like, okay. I'm so happy for them. And this was a long-lasting relationship. I love it. Mm-hmm. Bert and Ernie, shipping them together. They're my ship of the week.
Nice. So, yeah, my two. So I have two. The first one's also kind of classic, and I don't need to talk too much about it. But I have access to Netflix right now, so I feel like I have to watch all the stuff I can.
Don't let them find out you're back in. The Netflix
before
police.
I get kicked out. So I saw the newest Godzilla movie. So my first ship is Godzilla and Mothra. I believe that they are in love.
Tale as old as time.
I believe that's canon. Yeah. That's my first ship.
Is it Mothra? I seen a GIF recently of Godzilla. I don't know who he's fighting, and they're just like jamming a tree in his mouth. Are you familiar with that one? They're just like. I don't know if it's Mothra, but it is.
A tree that has to be old because modern Godzilla is way, way, way big. So,
oh yeah, I'll have to find it because it's an analogy of washing or brushing a toddler's teeth, and it's like maybe that's why I think that it's being done lovingly. But it seems like a nice moment in hindsight.
Okay, well.
So what is the vibes that Mothra's giving off?
She's ethereal. She sings.
Oh my gosh.
She's very like, oh.
She was a fairy.
Yeah. So she shows up to help her boyfriend out. In the most recent movie, they're like, someone's sending Godzilla distress signals. It's like, who could it be? It's his girlfriend.
He's got to go save her.
She's like, babe, I need your help. The evil monkeys are here.
Oh no.
I love
damsel in distress.
So
I mean, it's so sad that they the men who make movies are so horny. They're like, giant mega moth. Let's make her pretty. Yeah. Ethereal. Let's make her like Loki.
She is. Everyone's like, oh, it's Mothra. Everyone's like, get Godzilla out of here.
Yeah.
He's destroying everything. Only ever happy to see Mothra.
Which I'm never happy
But
to
they're
see a
in
moth,
love.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Give me butterfly drop.
But yeah, so maybe. I don't think that's one of the Titans. But my real ship. So our couple this week is out of the TV show Arcane, which I watched via Netflix because I have access.
Well,
to
you
that
had
right
access.
now. So yeah, I had to watch it real fast. That's how I discovered I'm back in. But so we're talking. We'll get into it, I guess. But we're talking about one specific couple. There's another couple from Arcane that is very big shipping, and that is the two guys, Victor and Jace. So I've seen them, and now like kind of just out in the internet, I guess. So and they kind of reminded me of, I guess, another ship I know about or I enjoy. So one of my favorite books of like all time is called Vicious by V.E. Schwab. And it's about two guys who are in college and they do an experiment because in this world, people occasionally have superpowers. So they do an experiment to determine, they believe that near-death experiences cause superpowers. So they do an experiment with near-death experiences.
Oh.
So they're like kind of academic, which reminded me of Victor and Jace. Their names are Victor and Eli. So I was like, okay, Victor.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, the
that also
common
reminded me.
denominator.
Yeah. So, and then, so they do their experimentation. And so what the thing is, they're like besties, but like in a weird way. They have like a kind of intense, maybe like possessive kind of friendship.
Ooh,
and then when
okay.
they do their experiment, the way it goes down, there's like a hard 180 where their like kind of obsessive friendship becomes obsessive like hatred.
Oh,
And they end up as enemies. So then I watched season 2 of Arcane and I was like, ooh, nailed it.
It's the same
There's
kind of
some,
story arc. I say as someone who
yeah.
supposedly had watched the series. Is that
There
what happens
is-
to those characters?
So they become enemies a little bit.
Oh, which
But-
just means like
Yeah.
the forbidden fruit, the tension, the enemies.
Mhm. And
to
that's
lovers.
so that's what's so good about
Lovers to
Vicious is
enemies.
that it's two timelines, so you kind of are getting at the same time their history when they were friends, and then you're like reading to figure out what happened because you're also reading about now that like the present where they're enemies, so like what happened there. But yeah, so when I read it, I don't think I was like maybe they should kiss, but I've definitely seen some reviews of it where other people read that into it, so it's out there.
of
It's a thing.
the
People
book
ship 'em.
Vicious. Oh, okay.
In the book. And people definitely ship these two guys in the show. I was personally a little let down. I think because I had kind of projected the Vicious dynamic onto them. And then when it wasn't that, I was kind of like, I was just expecting a more intense relationship there. And I was kind of left wondering
Wanting
if they were
more.
friends to begin with.
Oh no.
People, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a case of two guys in proximity just kind of getting shipped together, but people are into it. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like the book you read was a little bit more shippable than these two characters.
Well, you're in there. You're in Victor at least head in the first book, so yeah, there's a little bit some more going on, and that was specifically about their relationship. The show's got a lot going on.
I feel like there's a really famous book that's kind of like the same thing, where like the what am I talking about? It was a movie. It was that movie that everybody talked about last year.
The tennis movie.
Oh, they did play tennis, I believe, and he drank the bathwater.
Yeah.
What was it? Saltburn.
Oh no, that's a different movie.
Oh,
That's yeah.
where
Okay,
he was like
I know what you're
buddies with
talking
this
about.
rich
I can't think
guy.
of the title either.
Saltburn. Where he like wanted to
Yeah.
have sex with him down like on the low key. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting from the book. Is that close or no? We're like they're best friends, but they're like obsessive over each other.
Yeah, something like that. It's like too close, a little too possessive. there's a sequel where Victor's ace. So that maybe exactly. But
Oh, okay. That's so
Like-
funny because my other podcast, we just recorded an episode on asexuality. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure they're going to come out around the same time. So a little quick plug for my other podcast that I do, Impolite Society. What's the deal with asexuality? Should be coming out. If not, is out. So we actually had a lot of ships this week. So I'll have to actually consume some more content, some more art or literature or television, media. Saying consuming media sounds so hokey. But that might be a tall order because like our story today, I did not quite finish it. So Emily's going to be telling me a lot about what happens in the later part of the series.
Right. So yes, so today we're talking about Arcane, the TV show inspired by the video game League of Legends, which I didn't think had a plot, so I was rather surprised.
I learned a lot about League of Legends in this time frame, and more than I've learned in years of dating and then married to a person who was like a casual player who watches the esports. I knew nothing about the game. Yeah, he watches it. We watch on tournaments. We have to coordinate childcare so that he can watch the big games. And I'm like, I'm just glad you have something that brings you joy. But at the same time, I don't get it.
It's just a fighty one. You get your teams together and
Well, to be fair, that's sports.
Fight.
They're all just kind of the fighty ones, right? Look at football.
okay. I guess so.
But anyways, that's a sidestep.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the couple.
Yeah, so the couple, like I said, we touched on Vic, I believe, but the serious one we're talking today is CaitVi. CaitVi, Caitlin, and Vi. Rhymes with pie, not V.
Which, in my head, I read it as KV. Which, you're right, it is Vi.
It is Vi.
It is Vi.
I had to write it down because it is, in fact, short for Violet. I think we find out in
We
the
do
show.
learn that.
She has it tattooed on her face. It took me into season 2 to figure that out.
Oh, I didn't know she had a face tattoo at all. I saw that mentioned in...
it looks...
Oh, go ahead.
It's the Roman numeral 6. So I was like, why does she have the Roman numeral 6 tattooed on her face for 9 episodes? And then I was like, oh, it's a V and an I. It's her name.
Okay, yeah, I did know that she had Vi. Something about Vi tattooed on her face, but I didn't realize it was a violet. I thought maybe when you said that she had a flower. Because I don't...
It's her name. It's Violet.
Because somewhere in the game fandom that says that she doesn't remember her childhood, and the only reason she knows her name is because of the tattoo on her face. So then it's how does she know her full name's Violet? Anyways, that's, I guess, up to the show.
That was retconned. Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, that was the original. And then in the show, they changed it.
Yes, yeah.
And okay, so let's get into this couple first by talking about their couple name. CaitVi. 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 The
CaitVi.
characters' names, Caitlin and Violet. Violet's not so bad, but can I just say I hate when fantasy stories have normal sounding names, normal run-of-the-mill names. And yes, I'm looking at you, Paul and Jessica. I personally know at least 14 Caitlins. That's weird. But well, now that I know it's Vi and not
At
V,
least in
I
this
thought
world,
V
it
was
depends. Yeah. It depends if, it's when it's mixed with, fantasy names. So it's just, I hate that there's a Paul and Jessica with a Duncan, Idaho.
Good. Well, those
or
are two
a
regular
Lato,
words, right?
Yeah. But this one, everyone's names are fairly normal, so it kind of works. It's fine.
Yeah, they're either normal or they're badass insane because it's just there's an Evelyn or something.
Jinx, yeah.
And Jinx and Evangeline I looked through all of the champions while doing this research, and some of their names were normal and some of their names were nutso. So it's not consistent.
I like the ones that are just straight up Chinese folklore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wukong's in there. Why is he in here?
It was very confusing. I watched a 30-minute video about the origin of the League of Legends world, and that's time I'll never get back. And the creator of the universe that they live in is one of the champions. So you got literally the creator of the universe and then you have a sheriff. It's just like, can we get some consistency on the level?
And oh well, you got Robot Jesus too. We'll get into that. That's a little bit later.
Okay. We're still talking about the name, which we learned CaitVi, which I'm not.
It's fine.
It's a mouthful to me. Why, when there's so many other options like Vietlin or Violin,
Violin.
which I
People
did
like
see
that.
some conversation online that said violin. The reason they prefer CaitVi instead of violin is CaitVi is very specifically Googleable. So if you just if you type in violin porn, you're gonna get something very different than what you're actually looking for. Which is what that was a direct quote from somebody. I'm sure they were joking somewhat.
True. It is much more, recognizable. I really like Piltover's Finest, which I guess came from the game. It's one of their like combo moves they can do or something.
Yeah, when they pair together, they're called the Piltover's Finest, which Piltover, we'll talk about, is the city that was built over the other city because there was noxious gas release, which... Maybe that was something that was covered in the show that I missed, but that is what I learned from that.
It is, in fact, the gray. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the 30-minute lore video that I watched about the creation of time in the universe.
Which I thought was just, thought the game was just fighting. I also found someone suggested pound cake, which I thought was funny.
I love that because a cupcake, and then she's got the big pounding things.
She's got a big fist.
Yeah.
And then a lot of kind of puns on fist we don't need to get into.
No. This is a family show, even after I just said all kinds of weird things. No, okay. So I guess we're going to have to go with CaitVi. I'm never going to remember that. Even though I know her name.
And
I know which one's which.
But no, here for me.
Okay, so these two. They come from the universe of Arcane, which comes from the universe of League of Legends, which I hate. No, just kidding. League of Legends has kind of had a very volatile place in my life because of how annoying it is when you are partnered with somebody who plays it. Because it's in real time, right? It's like a multiplayer online. I forgot the acronym that I learned about while watching.
MMO, yeah. It's a
online
massively multi online. I looked it up today.
Okay, or something like that. Which,
but yeah, MMO.
But it's also timed as well. So it's like you only have an hour to play, and you can't do anything else in that hour. And if you're dating somebody or married to somebody who plays it, they will start a game when they have less than an hour to do something else, right? Like dinner is going to be ready in 20 minutes. Oh, I can play one more League game. And then all of a sudden the food's on the table getting cold and that motherfucker's out there click, which is another reason why I hate the game is it's so overstimulating to be around anybody who's playing it because you literally, this is what you hear. And in research, I talked to my husband a lot about this game and I'm like, why do you have to click so much? And he's like, you have to tell your champion where to go. And I'm like, can you just click once and wait for them to go there?
Okay.
So the most similar game that we've ever played to this has probably been Battle for Middle-earth because you're like directing your troops. But anyways, the game is annoying.
Okay.
It's annoying as fuck. And luckily my husband doesn't play so much anymore.
I feel like that's kind of the vibe on the internet. I feel like I've seen jokes where people are like, oh, I watched Arcane, should I get into League of Legends? And everyone's like, do not. No.
It's so annoying.
It's not,
Anyways, so League of Legends is a very bitter. I was going to say bittersweet, but it's mostly bitter. It's sweet now because I like that my husband likes to watch them play. So he is a fan of the esports. So it's always been peripheral in like the last decade of my life. And if I was going to describe it, after, talking to my husband about it and then just like having to watch a YouTube video explain it because my husband talks about things in the most roundabout way, it's basically capture the flag. There's 2 teams, 5, and you have to go and like infiltrate the other team's base. And everybody has 5 champions, which are the 5 characters. There were 40, I think, when it was released, and now there's like 140 plus or something. A lot of champions. So you pick your favorite character and you play together with a team of people online. And there's like minions and like little people you call to help you.
Sounds good.
And it sounds like that. And a lot of swearing. And apparently it's very toxic because there's the online chat function, which is never good.
Ooh, always bad. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't need to talk to anybody playing a video game.
Well, I did. I actually
no
talked to
opinion.
somebody when I was a dinosaur. I'll talk more. I'm trying to get Emily to play Path of Titans with me, but she won't commit the monetary commitment.
I just spent money on video games recently that I haven't played.
It's okay. Well, we'll get there. I'll wear you down, just like I did with Ghost.
Oh, even funnier. I'm listening to Sabaton now. I just let that one sit
I love Sabaton.
for like a year.
Through the gates of hell.
And now I'm
As we make our way to heaven. It's a song about killing Nazis, and I just love it. I listen to it when I run, and I'm like, this is me training to fight Nazis in the near future.
my favorite, I think they're the top two, but I love When the Winged Hussars Arrive.
I don't know. I don't listen to
enough.
enough
And then
Sabaton.
also, it was 1527, the Swiss Guard, when the Swiss Guard did something besides wear weird outfits and yell at my dad in the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, I'll listen to them more. They just had a new
They're not
album
having
come
mass right now. It doesn't matter.
out. Yeah.
Anyway.
That damn Swiss Guard.
they even do?
I want to listen to them more. They just had a new album, but I'm also afraid that they're going to be like, coming, on tour, buy tickets. And I'm like, as someone who's been to 4 concerts in their life before like the last 2 years, now I have 4 concerts that I want to go to in one summer. Like, that's too much. Too much.
They're expensive now.
Okay, Emily.
All right,
what do you know
so
about
my
League of
thoughts on
Legends,
League of
the game?
Legends. I knew about the esports thing. I knew that it was like the biggest esports. I think I knew some people in college who played it, but like that was before, I cared about video games. And even as far as I care about video games now, I like more plot-based RPG type stuff. So I'm not trying to play with other people. Yeah, I just seems like toxic to me. So don't want to be involved with anyone else.
And that's fair.
But
That's
I know
totally
it's the esports
fair.
thing.
And esports is like huge. It's like college. They're making a school for esports in China or something where they're just like going to crank them out. Esports champions. But anyways, the history of League of Legends in a nutshell. It started as a like modded version of a World of Warcraft game. They called it Defense of the Ancient or like Dota or something like that. And
Okay.
that do you know about that?
I read it just triggered. So I read a book / audio, listened to the audiobook called Play Nice about World of Warcraft by Jason Schreier. And so you just saying it, because since I was listening to the audiobook, the first explanation of the acronym like flew by me, and then he just kept talking about it. I was like, what is he talking about? But that's kind of how I know about, he talked about League of Legends and that, World of Warcraft couldn't quite get into the esports realm. It's a bit more kind of plot-y, I think. But yeah, okay, that just like triggered a memory.
Yeah, okay.
Dota.
Because apparently it was a big deal because modding was huge. And then they were like, well, we're just going to build our own game based off the same mechanics, which was the 5v5. They also were a pioneer of free-to-play where they let you get the game for free and then they nail you on the customization of skins and whatnot, which I flipped through
like
some
the
of
Fortnite model.
Yeah, well, the Fortnite is using the League of Legends model.
Yeah, it's League of Legends model.
Which is now the Sims model, too, because you can get the base game for free, and then you have to pay for all the extras. Anywho, so then the game as we know it today, well, not really. The game under the name of League of Legends launched in 2009, and we've described what it is. And it turned into a behemoth, making over $1.5 billion a year or something along those lines. It's really popular, as we talked about. It's literally the center of esports. And these tournaments that they started to host turned into like the biggest in this whole global phenomenon. So in addition to the consistent improvements and the transparency around patches and updates, as well as the community and the ability to buy cool skins, the expansive lore was another piece that pulled players in. And it is expansive. As I learned in that 30-plus minute video, it literally starts with the creation of the universe in time. I'm like, this is too much for just like a capture the flag game.
Well, some of the characters are like immortal. The little critters. The ears.
It did feel very much like Lord of the Rings, at times, like Lord of the Rings lore inspired, because it was like these gods made this earth, and then the mortals came, and the gods and the mortals, and I'm like, and then like the step between, I'm like, okay, I get it, like the elves and the people and the blah 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 blah, the men of the West, they're reinventing the wheel here, but that lore was apparently extensive enough for folks to turn into a TV show, which is what we're talking about today. So, mostly with little throwbacks to the games here and there.
Yeah, it seemed they took the opportunity to maybe take some of the favorite characters and just kind of flesh them out, give them like a true backstory, explain, the relationship between, they've got like multiple cities, and there's like the two next to each other. There's the Noxians. They're out there doing something. Just to kind of flesh out their whole world.
Yeah, and again, because my husband's was a big moderate League of Legends player. He watched it and he told me it was good. I remember him talking about the second season coming out, and he was like excited about it. And he kept telling me, "You should watch it. You should watch it. Like, it really is good." And I was like, "It's based off League of Legends?" I'm like, "No, thank you. I'm too traumatized from you playing it."
My memory, I feel like what I heard about the show was also from your husband saying it was good, and I've been kind of meaning to watch it. It seemed more like my shit than your shit, so
yes,
it's been on the list, and genuinely everything I hear about it is positive. It's good. The most recent series I've heard was I heard was queer. I think I assumed it was queerer than it was, which was part of my letdown with the two. Yeah.
It wasn't queer enough.
There, but
I thought it delivered on its queer. It gave us a queer sex scene, right? Which is more than a lot of shows do.
Mm-hmm. But when I know the other big ship is two dudes, I was just expecting something there, and there wasn't anything.
Oh.
So, yeah. I thought it would be more, but
they got to have something for season 3.
It was good. Yeah, well, you didn't watch the ending.
Oh, shit. Never mind. Okay. Well, okay, that's right. I did watch some of it. I watched, I think, like 3 or 4 episodes of season 1, and I'll admit, I liked it more than I thought I was going to. The animation style did win me over. At first, I was like, I'm not going to like this. And then I ended up being rather pretty, I thought. And the plot was like, maybe if I'd given it a fair shake, I would have got pulled into it more. But like you said, this is definitely more your shit than my shit. I was just like, it was too steampunk, I guess. The animation was pretty, but the art, I was just like, are they going to be flying a hot air balloon ship through here soon? Or I don't know. I just like the art style for me.
It's literally in the finale. It is a bit steampunky, I guess, with the combo. They combine magic and technology in a way. I kind of was worried about the animation. I thought the kind of 3D-ness of it would be a bit overwhelming and distracting, but they mix it up in really effective ways. And there's like segments where they get really artsy that are really cool. And I also really like a lot of the music. So some of the music has like made its way into my workout playlist like ahead of time.
Oh.
So I'm like already familiar with it.
Okay, that's nice. It's kind of like a has-been hotel similarity.
Yeah, that still creeps in there too. Yep. The fight scene between Jinx and Echo, specifically, that song. When that popped up, I was like, oh yeah, I know this song.
So we've established that it's a good show, and we've talked a little bit about some of the characters in it. But the 2 main characters that we're talking about today, Vi and Caitlyn. So I guess Caitlyn might be the most popular one, or more popular one, because she came up first in all the research that I read. But Caitlyn is known as like the finest cop of the above town, right? So there's the city that originally was there, got gassed, and then they built the rich people built a better city over it and kind of like left all the poor people down below. So she's a cop in the upstairs, the above. Isn't that what they call it? The above and the below or something like that? The underworld.
I want to say like upper city, undercity? Undercity for sure.
Yeah, like I feel like they call it the underworld. And I'm like, that's a bit on the nose. Like, I feel like...
Like undercity, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say, I feel like corruption and like evil governments are a little bit more subtle than that. right? They called it the districts in the Hunger Game. They didn't call it like the slave states, right? Anyways, so she is a police officer, which is what it is.
She's a cop, yeah.
Yeah, and she is described as Piltover's, the name of the city's best shot at ridding the city of its elusive criminal elements, aka poor people, I guess. So in the game, she's often paired with Vi, acting as kind of like a cool counterpart to to Vi's more impetuous nature. And she carries a one-of-a-kind hex rifle, but her most powerful weapon is her superior intellect, according to the League of Legends website. And so she's just kind of like this cop. She wears a top hat and fluffy skirt because that's what their police wear in Piltover. And she's just, I guess, a general badass. Well, I'll let you talk about how she is in the show. This is before they got all that backstory. Vi was raised on the mean streets of Zon, which is the underworld. She is a hothead, impulsive, and fearsome woman with little respect for authority. She's been a troublemaker and a survivor, as she had a rambunctious youth and then ended up in a jail, I believe is what her lore is online. And now she works with the Piltover enforcers, which are the police. She's a narc, a rat. Just kidding. But she works with them to do something. I don't know, stop the criminals, stop the poor people. But what she does well, and she works with her mostly partner, Caitlin. So these two characters were often paired together, or when you did pair them together, you got a lot of special interactions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all mostly pretty true to the show. Caitlin is, an enforcer. She's also from a very, powerful family. So I don't know if that's new. Her parents her mom was like a councilwoman, so she's like helping run the city. So she's trying to prove herself as one of these, fantasy cops. And then Vi is, from the Zon, the Undercity.
Well, a big change from the game to
she was in a prison.
Yeah, the big change from the game to the show was Vi got a sister, right?
Right, Jinx. So she, I believe, was one of the other champions, just I guess not.
They weren't connected.
Officially sisters.
And Jinx was a very popular champion, according to my husband.
She's very kind of like,
Harley
quirky,
Quinn.
I guess.
Yeah. She's like a Harley Quinn model.
Yeah. I was like Harley. I was thinking like manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. 'Cause she's like crazy. She's like, but not quite that because she's unhinged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say their relationship is basically the plot of it's the backbone of the show, specifically the first season, maybe less so the second season.
I do think when we come to our segment here, meet cute or get the boot. Emily, remind me of how they met, because I'm like kind of remembering it, but tell me in detail, please.
Okay, so in the show, right, Caitlin is an enforcer. She's not taken seriously because she's young, she's rich. They're like, whatever, you get everything handed to you. So she decides that she is going to personally take down the crime boss, Silco. So she goes into a prison in order, I think, originally she wants to interview one of his henchmen who's in there. But they're like, well, you can't talk to him. He got beat to shit by this lady that is in prison. She's like, well, I'll talk to her. So she goes to talk to, it's Vi. Vi has personal beef with Silco. He did kill her dad, her adopted dad, kind of.
Her stand-in, yeah.
Yeah. Because her real dad, the birth dad, died elsewhere at a different time by enforcers, which kind of makes this relationship complicated. But, right, so she goes to this prison, and then that's where she meets. She kind of wants to interrogate Vi to find out what she knows about Silco, but in the end, she realizes that she's better off with her out of prison, so she breaks her out. She doesn't break her out; she just gets her release.
She signs her out. I don't know. It takes her a month to to go solve crime.
Yeah, well, because she is wealthy, she has connections, so she's able to kind of pull on those to get her out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and
they
I
can
feel
work
like
together.
their first meeting was actually like pretty good, right? It was kind of like, who are you? I'm like, what do you need to know? Like that kind of like cat and mouse game. And obviously, even though Caitlin's the cop on the outside, I feel like Vi still had all the power. You know, she was like, "You need me." This is the gist of it. So I feel like there was like it was kind of a sexy scene, right?
I think so. I think this is a meet cute for sure.
Yay! Okay, I feel like we've had a lot of get the boots.
No, yeah, there's the tension there. There was definitely tension there. And then, yeah, she's able to get her out of prison. So that's good. And because she was kind of wrongly in there, like,
Yeah,
she
I didn't remember
tossed
why
in
she
there to
was
get her
in
out of the
jail.
way. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay, woohoo!
yeah.
A meet cute, a meet smoldery. I feel like it's not just cute. It's not like, oh, she dropped her books and she picked it up for her. It was like spicy. I liked it.
Yeah. Yep. And so that's how they meet. So from there, their relationship. So I guess you want to do the game relationship where this all started.
Yes, because the game influenced the show, obviously. It's not just like the characters that they put in there, but a lot of the relationship was teased in the game. So it began as soon as Vi was released as a champion in 2012. So that was, Caitlin was apparently released in 2010, and I guess that's why she's always listed first in the research. She's just an older character. And I think that maybe the game kind of was like catching its stride at that point, and that's why it didn't name the character, I don't know, Jessica, Ashley or something. I don't know. But anyways, their shared backstory of becoming work partners, as well as like a certain in-game voice lines that hinted at romantic connection, is what made so many people get behind this idea that they were together. Because really, they're two characters you pick and then they fight independently. This is not a narrative-based game. But some of the kind of like, there's a word for it, like the things that they say while you're fighting, there's gotta be
their interactions.
Yeah, it's not even an interaction. It's just like if they're, I guess, fighting each other. But I feel like there's a word for like those kind of like throwaway things that people say over and over again in games. Like you go up to an NPC and you talk to them, and they say, when in Skyrim, and when the guy says, "I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took an arrow to the knee," and it's just like, what is the term for those kind of sayings? Because like you hear them so much. Anywho, so one of the things that they said on repeat was they said some one-liners that were like kind of hinting at them being more than just partners in the field of law, but to basically the fans, it all but confirmed that they were together. And then the show came.
Right. And they knew what was coming because they added some lines like immediate pre-show. Specifically, I read one where if Kate, if you got a bad player and then Kate ends up dying, her dying line is tell Vi or tell Vi.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what's she saying? Right. And then the show releases and kind of addresses their relationship.
And I believe, before you jump
clearer.
in, I believe one of their hot lines from the show is actually a line from the game. Something about cupcake. You're hot, cupcake. I think was a line from the game that the writer I read specifically fought to include in the show. Where the producers are like, oh, we could communicate this with a look. And she's like, we need the word cupcake in there.
Yeah, that's kind of when they start flirting is you're hot cupcake. And what coworker is calling a coworker cupcake?
Yeah, I would never. That'd be straight to HR.
Right. Something's going on there. But yeah, so in their relationship in the show, in season 1, Kate, she's trying to make her name as an enforcer. There's a more of a detective vibe really than like cop vibe. She's got a wall with red string connecting the dots, like that kind of stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So but she does have a gun. She's the best with the gun. That was like it's a whole moment when she gets her gun. It clearly meant something to the people who played the game. That kind of stuff.
It meant, so you're like, this isn't for me. It's okay. I'm here for the plot.
Yeah, there's a moment when they're talking about their magical creations, and they're like, this is the adamant hammer, this is the Atlas glove. They just had such names that oh, these are some fantasy ass names. These are some video game names.
Yeah.
These items are clearly their weapons. So anyway, she gets the I think they're Atlas gloves, or Vi does. If she gets but she gets the special gun. It's clearly her gun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, in order to prove her skills, she wants to take down the crime lord Zilko. In order to do that, to get some help, she breaks Vi out of prison. Vi also has a score to settle with Zilko, and so they kind of team up. And it's kind of an odd couple situation where Kate has, she has the brains, she has the privilege behind her, whereas Vi has she's the brawn, she's a brawler in the game. She knows her way around the Undercity. So she has the connections in the Undercity to kind of scope out.
So it's almost Elphaba Glinda again, right? Where one wants to work within the system and the other one says, burn it all down.
Oh yeah, it's that upper class, lower class. It's a thing. Opposite attract.
Yeah, she's singing Uptown Girl. Yeah. Da, 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 da. I don't know the rest of the words.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, while they're working together, sparks fly, there's flirting, there's tragic backstory reveals,
of course.
And then of course. And eventually, kind of a grudging respect. Right. They both get injured at one point and they help each other out. At one point, Vi's crazy ass sister Jinx kidnaps them both because she's jealous that Vi has kind of not really, replaced her. She's crazy, so she thinks she's replaced her with another blue-haired person.
Which Jinx is the motivation for Vi going after Silco, right? It's he killed her, surrogate father, and then also Jinx works for him now, and so she's trying to save her, right, or get her out from under his grip.
Yeah, she's trying to get her little sister back. She's kind of it's represented by before she was with Zilko, her name was Powder, and then when she Silco kind of takes her in, she got to go by Jinx, so she wants Powder back. She wants her little sister she remembers back, but she doesn't exist anymore.
Right, because didn't the gang that she ran with, they told Jinx that she was a Jinx, and that's where the name came from? Because she she blew up and killed somebody, didn't she?
So well, it was just a series of events in the first couple of episodes where every time Powder got involved, it would go badly. And she did. I was watching the show and I was like, she does kind of suck. She does an explosion.
It's almost like children shouldn't be involved in organized crime.
Right. So she sets an explosion to try to save her whole entire family, manages to only kill her family. Not even the henchmen died. It was a big explosion. I was like, how are all the henchmen surviving? But she did kill her two friends. I was like, damn, that went badly. But it goes pretty bad. Anyway, that's just season 1. So season 2... Jinx kills Caitlyn's mom, so that's kind of bad.
Yeah, that is not
on purpose specifically.
That's her forte. She just accidentally kills everybody. She's never killed the person she meant to.
No, well, she launched a bomb. She didn't really know who was going to die.
Classic Jinx move.
Yep.
She's chaos, chaotic, neutral. Right.
No, evil maybe.
Chaotic. Bad.
I was not a fan of her in the first season. Second season, I felt like they made her more human. First season, she was just kind of she'll just do whatever we want her to do. Doesn't have to make sense because she's crazy.
She's crazy, and she has side boob. I saw that bit, and I was like, why was this included?
She's barely wearing clothes.
Yeah, I'm like, how is
Caitlyn
this
also wears
to the
a skirt.
plot?
Yeah. for a lot of this. Well, she eventually gets pants, so
Yeah.
it's some improvement.
Yeah. Get that girl some
What kind of
pants.
cop wears a frilly skirt?
And she's like leaping over like all the buildings or whatever. I feel like I saw a lot of leaping on buildings, and I was like, you don't want to be doing that in a skirt, especially in the
Does not seem
underworld or
practical.
whatever. Doesn't she pretend to be a prostitute at some point, or did I read that wrong?
Yeah, it's for like a second. It's in when they first get together while Vi wants to talk to somebody. They're in like a brothel, so they're just like, hey, you're hot, cupcake, go distract people, or just, pretend to just kind of get out of my way.
Oh, okay. That's what. Yeah, because that was kind of another point where they were like, oh, it was kind of like where they hinted at their attraction to each other.
Well, right, because that was when she says, "'Cause you're hot, cupcake," and then when she leaves her after a really awkward conversation, she does her information gathering, comes back, finds Kate flirting with a woman.
Yes.
So
that's
implies.
kind of. I mean, we could assume that about Vi just based on her character arc, but now we know for sure. And that was one of the things that was called out, was that it was very like popular for its sapphic. Did I say that right?
Sapphic.
For its sapphic depictions, or like for sapphic lesbians, because Caitlin, you wouldn't know just by looking at her.
Yeah, well, sapphic just means lesbian. Like, it just means women. Femme,
Oh.
I think you want.
Yeah, something like that. I just looked this up on TikTok too, unrelated to this, so I thought I knew what I was talking about, but I don't.
I think sapphic just means two women, and then maybe like femme is like girly versus like a more like a butch or masculine.
The answer on TikTok, yeah, you're right. The answer on TikTok led me down the wrong path. It led me astray. That did not matter to the plot. Okay, so I think
this
we're
is definitely
left
some
off.
women loving women.
Yes.
Right, season 2. Kate's mom's dead. She's sad about it.
Who wouldn't be?
She's her and Vi team up to work in a strike team to specifically hunt down Jinx. That was a cool sequence when them and their team all like showed up with their cool weapons. I think that is the Piltover's finest, is their like strike team.
Oh,
And that's when they use the gas to try to actually limit casualties, because it like gets people out of the area. But anyway.
oh, that's smart.
So when they do pin down Jinx, they're about to go confront her. They get the rest of their strike team. They kind of release them. They're like, Jinx will like get in their heads. We got to get rid of them. So right before they go confront her, they have a moment where Kate promises Vi she'll never change, and then they have an on-screen kiss. So confirmed relationship.
And this is in the midst
so they
of
have
battle, right? They're like ready.
It's like right before.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They're about to go. So it doesn't last very long. They go battle Jinx. Kate is kind of consumed by her vengeance. She goes to shoot Jinx, but Vi stops her. There is a child involved. There's a kid shows up. So she's like, this isn't you. You wouldn't risk a kid like that. But Kate, in her grief, ends up leaving Vi in the tunnels, the sewers. And then some stuff happens. She becomes like the dictator of the city for a bit,
Wow, that is a meteoric rise from this. Okay, so at any point in this, has she taken down Silco? Is he done?
Oh, no, yes. So Jinx ended up shooting him at the finale of season 1.
Okay, I figured
She's so
that was going to
crazy.
be like a season finale vibe.
Yeah, yes, yeah. That is when that happened. They have moved past it. Now they are dealing with Robot Jesus and a warmonger who has shown up and is trying to get them to go to war, the two cities.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's a real
So,
Capital versus Pan Am thing going on there.
But it's like Capital and Pan Am working together against
Metal Jesus.
Super Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, I need to look up that guy when we're done, because that's new news. That's new information.
That's
to
Victor. So-
figure it out.
I did like read all the champions, and I got
You
to
read
Victor,
all the
and it was, like,
champions?
not all of them,
I
the
was
ones that
gonna
were
say.
characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. And it was like, he's mostly metal, and his disciples will like do this stuff. And I was like, damn, some shit's about to go down.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, he turns into like kind of a messiah. Yeah, so while Vi's and Jinx are hanging out with Messiah Victor, she runs into Kate outside the commune that he's got going. It's a whole thing. They end up scheming together to get rid of there's a warmonger type character she's clearly like encouraging the battle because she wants to have access to the weapons that come out of it.
Yeah.
So they team up together to take her and then Metal Jesus down. And then afterwards, there's a whole battle. Or I think before the battle, Jinx gets caught. She's in jail. But Caitlyn secretly pulls the guards off her, giving Vi the opportunity to like release her. And then after that, they reconnect. They bang in the prison cell, and then they're together forever.
That's okay. I did watch the scene where they hook up, and the specific version that I watched just happened to be on Reddit with no background music. So I feel like that's a whole other level of just watching people hook up.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Like,
it was a good scene. I liked it. I thought it was very realistic. I didn't think it was like over the top. Also, tell me why I'm scrolling through all the champions and I'm like, I can't tell who Metal Jesus is, because my brain, I was picturing like that Jesus in Brazil, but made of metal. Like, I'm like, where's his artwork? That's like exactly what I'm looking for.
No, he's got like a robot kind of face. Anyway, it's Victor, so scroll to the bottom.
Victor. Oh, there he is. Victor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah. Where are you going, Victor? Smoke signals? No, you don't remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
Why'd your dad leave, Victor?
Don't remember yeah.
Okay, I see
That's
Metal
cool.
Jesus now.
Yep. He becomes possessed by the magic or something. Yep. That I did not understand that plot line, how he became bad so fast. He was fine and then all of a sudden he wasn't fine.
Did he look this ridiculous in the movie or the show?
Yes. Oh, he ends up ridiculous. He starts off normal.
Oh, there he is. I see him. Prototype Victor. He was a character in the first season, yes?
Yeah. So like regular Victor was a character in the first season. Second season, he also dies in the explosion that Jinx causes. In order to save him, Jace like tosses him into the magic, and then he comes out of the magic like partially Jesus-y, and then he later has like an apotheosis, becomes fully magical. He was kind of hot in the middle stage, I will say.
Was he with blonde hair? Blonde hair?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because I'm looking at one of the skins you can buy, and it's called literally Arcane Savior Victor. I almost said Victor. I almost said Savior Jesus. But it's called Arcane Savior Victor, and he's got like blonde hair, brown eyebrows, and he's like, I don't know. It's like Celebrimbra Bra or whatever. Celebrim. I don't remember everybody's names.
For Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the guy who made the rings. Remember when Sauron was like pretending to be that guy?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That's just he looks like his hair is tied back in a hair bow.
No, he was brunette, but he had like white patches because when he changes people, their hair kind of turns white.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not seeing any of that artwork on here.
Nah, that's a whole thing that happens. Anyway, so they're together. So yeah, in the end, they kind of end up happily ever after. There's a lot of the characters die, but like there's no bodies, so
they're gonna come back.
It's not like real.
I mean, okay, there's a world where there's a character. I forgot about this because I started watching it and I was texting you about it. Humperdinker, the Donger?
Heimerdinger, yes.
Heimerdinger the Donger.
You referred to him as a Furby.
I said this Furby is like they're treating him like people. Apparently he's like a god or something. I don't remember.
They're immortal. Yeah, that's apparently the immortal race. So
yeah, and they look like Furbies.
He's one of the characters that dies. He
disappears.
disappears.
No, the Dimmerdinger Donger dies.
Heimerdinger.
How can he die? He's
If
immortal.
there's no body, it doesn't count.
Right. So it sounds like they're just like growing. But again, they gave no context for this character, and there's just like a Furby teaching the school. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. I've not seen any non-human character until this point, and I'm just supposed to be chill.
Just take this. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Heimerdinger, whatever. Anyways, but it seems like maybe that the lore, they're doing that thing where shows just like get bigger and bigger and bigger as they go, and it's getting more and more confusing once you start bringing in Metal Jesus.
Yeah, they introduced alternate universes. Yeah. So they can really do whatever. I think they're...
Yes, because there's
I
a
think
magic world and a regular world.
Oh, in the game?
There's two versions. Well, in the lore and the 35-minute video, they talk about how there's like two versions of the same world on top of each other or something. One's with magic, one's without, or something. I don't know. And then the people bring the magic into the real world. This is sounding really familiar, and I believe this is another story we talked about where it was like an alternate dimension or something that they could go in and out of. Mm-hmm. Was it The Witcher? Did The Witcher have something like that?
It kind of has dimensions. It has like the elf dimension where the elves live.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because like the guys that came out, the 5 horsemen or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the Wild Hunt.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
they were from the elf dimension.
I'm all connecting all the dots. Okay, it kind of has that kind of vibes at the end.
Well, and to tie it in, so the same author, right, who wrote Vicious, I talked about earlier, she has a different series where you have like a non-magical Earth, magical Earth, and then like the Earth that magic killed. So it's like all
it's
coming.
kind of like
it's
the
all the
10th kingdom.
Yeah.
You go through a mirror and all of a sudden there's a sexually confusing wolf. Okay, this is like we're all over the place. Okay, so that's their story. That's their story. And we can kind of see obviously where it comes from because we got hints at it from the cute little one-liners they had, and then it was confirmed in the show. So, and the most of the consensus that I saw online was that people like it, right? That there's not a lot to debate about. It's pretty much accepted. You can't really argue with it because it is what it is. But there are some people who do criticize the relationship outside of the normal, well, I didn't see it. I mean, you can't really use that excuse this time. But one of the things that I just have to ask you is who's this Jace fella? Because he comes up a lot and people being like, why not Jace? Why not Jace?
So, yeah, Jace is, I feel like just extremely shippable for like with a lot of characters.
He's also, you shipped him with Victor, right?
Right, yeah. Well, I didn't, but other people do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, they ship Jace with Victor. In the show, he has a relationship with Mel. He's just kind of like a hot science guy.
He's like the Steve of his universe. From Stranger Things, everybody's like Steve.
Yeah. Callback, yeah. Yeah.
To every episode.
I mean, I felt like he was a little dopey. Like, none of his choices were good, but yeah. Him and Caitlin have kind of a relationship. Her family kind of sponsors him in his like scientific endeavors. So but they have like kind of a big brother, little sister thing going. That I was like, that could become something before I knew like how it all shook out.
Right. Okay. So that's what I was like. That's what I saw was what about Jace? And that echoes a lot of the commentary that I saw in response was like they're more like brother sister. Also, if the character's gay, she's gay. Like that's what about Jace is it's not who she's attracted to.
Yeah.
So get it out, man. Get him out of here.
He's got like enough going on.
Right.
They honestly, after the first season, they don't interact a whole lot. So yeah, some criticism I saw. So you have, Jinx killing like Vi's mom. That makes it a bit complicated. Or no, Kate's mom.
But how is that Vi's fault?
It's well then they gotta hunt down Vi's sister, and so maybe Vi doesn't really want her sister murdered, or that's what Kate's about.
Well, it doesn't help that when she's the law enforcement either, and she's the one doing it.
Yeah. Well, and then she kind of ends up in like a twist. the upper city declares martial law, and then Kate gets put in charge, which I thought was a very well done twist. I did not see it coming, so I was like, whoa.
See, I didn't even get to the politics part of it because I'm like, I don't even know. I feel like I'm missing like 20 steps before that happened.
Yeah, no, this was season 2, so like a lot had gone down already, and like end of season 2. But yeah, so people don't like that. It's not a good look.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, become the dictator of a city. Some like maybe laws weren't followed. Yeah, it's not great, but like she's clearly being manipulated into it. I feel like in her grief over the loss of her mother, and she does snap out of it, and then leads the kind of resistance to get it was the warmonger woman who did the manipulation. She does eventually take her down. So, she's trying, and she kind of in like a, I don't think she expected to make it. So she's kind of like she's going to self-sacrifice for that. And she's trying to make up for it.
Aw, okay. So it sounds like she's redeeming herself.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. People didn't like it. I was like, I don't know. I felt like it was clear. The manipulation aspect was clear. Okay.
Yeah.
She kind of came out of it on her own.
Well, it's such a big jump that it's like, of course, that you're going to do what, you're going to lean on other people and you're going to try to do what the powers that be want you to. When I felt like in season 1, she was a student.
Yeah.
I don't know how she ended up being the dictator, like the head of the military, but.
Right. That's like part of it, right? Because she's so young, and it was because she's got that name backing her. So her mom's now dead. So she's kind of like having to take the reins. She's overwhelmed. You've got this, very powerful and like with it woman kind of pulling strings. And she kind of makes a spectacle where it's like, well, what is she supposed to do?
Right.
So,
okay. So that's forgivable. Just like I wouldn't blame Vi for Jinx's actions. Like, Kate obviously was led astray, but it's coming back. I mean, they hooked up in the jail cell. Like, how much more true love can it be than that?
Mm-hmm. Right. Call back to their meeting. Their meet cute.
Well, and when they had sex in the cell.
Yeah.
Oh,
right,
the callback. That was the callback. Yeah. Okay. It's like what they wanted to do then, but then they finally got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So there's really not much to say about this. There's some people who have concerns, but like mostly it's just like confirmed, which I think is like not normally something we cover, but did they end in a good spot in season 2?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're together. Like, all the characters are like potentially dead, but they're definitely alive and definitely together.
Okay, good.
What is Vi said? I think Kate's like, "Are you sticking around?" And Vi says, "Yeah, I'm the dirt under your nails. You're not getting rid of me."
Aww.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty positive. So that's a good place. And obviously fans have latched onto them and they've been creating content around them from pre-Arcane days. And some common themes that we see in the fan fiction that folks are writing is the reluctant partners for lovers. I mean, who doesn't love that, right? They're like forced to work together and then they find out they have a lot more in common than they think. There's Bob's Burgers. I like reference everything. I have to put things in context and through my sitcoms that I watch. Do you remember the episode where Tina goes to the boy band auditions dressed like a boy to try to find her soulmate, and then she runs into all these dudes and is envisioning
there's like too many boys.
Yeah, she's envisioning their romance stories, and there's the one that my favorite is the kind of like, oh, we're two competitive coworkers who are forced to work on a project together and then we fall in love on a business trip to Paris. And I'm like, that's kind of what I envision when I hear reluctant partners to lovers. But anyways, that's a common theme. So is reversed roles, as well as alternate universes are very popular in this side of the fandom. And I saw that while perusing the top fanfics. And some of my favorite concepts that I encountered were Caitlin is ground control and Vi is in space. So Vi is like talking to her through, the long distance radio. And I'm like, okay, I kind of love that because they're building their relationship over this, like, talking and not even seeing each other and, pining and angst. And I was like, that's kind of sweet. A lot of hockey specific stories. Did you see those
Yeah.
too?
Because so while I was browsing, I saw a lot of AUs as well, which kind of fits because in this world there is an AU. There's an episode where a couple characters get sent to different alternate universes, although they are very similar to the one they're in. They're not sent to like our universe. But I saw a lot of like the characters in our universe, and I also saw a couple hockey, which really kind of stuck out to me because I don't think I've come across that before.
Right. And all of
in multiple of them.
Yeah, that's just such a specific thing. And I at first I was like, why hockey? And then I was like, of course hockey. Because there's so many like cheesy romance books out now that are about hockey. So it just kind of like, I don't know why that caught on across the board, but it makes sense, I guess, of why it would creep into romantic fan fiction. And then another go ahead.
That's almost also like another reluctant partners, your teammates, maybe you don't like each other, or you're on rival teams, even steamier.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
But yeah, why hockey? I don't know.
Well, yeah, somebody tell us. Why is hockey the sexiest sport right now?
Yeah.
I don't see it. And then the last one I thought was kind of clever too is they set them in World War II, where Vi is a pilot and Caitlin is a war wife. She's living in France. She's a French lady and her husband's at war. And then she saves her from the flaming wreckage of her plane crash and hides her from the Gestapo. And I specifically gonna call this one out because I did search on the subreddit as well. And this one was name dropped. And I was like, oh, I just saw that while I was researching. So apparently some people like it enough to share it with others. And that is called The Cerulean Eyes for the Damaged Soul. And the Cerulean Eyes also jumped out at me because a few weeks ago, my favorite ship was from the Cerulean Sea, the house in the Cerulean Sea. And that's where I learned that word because I don't know if I've ever thought about that color before or that name for that color. So anyhoodle. That's a cute one. I read the first chapter of it. It was good. It didn't quite make you turn the page like Glinda with the massive dick, but it was cute. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that was like shocking for fan fiction.
No,
just browsing, but yeah. I did do a count. I did kind of want to see how CaitVi stacked up against, what I believe to be the other big ship from this series, JVic. So I got hit JVic. They were around 13,500. I was like, okay, it's okay. So then I clicked on CaitVi, and then they have around 14,000 fics, officially beating out the MLM ship in there. Not MLM. That's multi-level marketing. So beating out the boys there, which I was like a pleasant surprise because in fan fiction tends to kind of lean towards like
man
the
to
guys.
man. I mean, when the men are getting pregnant and having babies from other men, that's like it just seems like you will do anything to avoid putting a woman in.
I will. Hey, so looking at the KV ships, I also saw some where I think they knocked each other up. So
right, because everybody knows that is the ultimate end point of a relationship is procreation.
Right. Or marriage.
Right.
I used to listen to I listened to a podcast. They would talk about romance novels, and one of the two women would never read an epilogue. If there was ever an epilogue, she would not read it. She was like, they're either getting married or having a kids, and I do not care.
Right. That's literally the only thing that's ever in the epilogue.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a romance novel, and the epilogue's about how they broke up. Because that's how relationships end. The vast majority of them.
They got divorced 10 years later.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it was just like, and then that's, shorthand for marriage. It bugs me.
Right.
I've come across in stories where it doesn't even make sense character-wise. Like, why would they do that, Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, so these two I could see, like, they're obviously in it for the long haul, but can you imagine reading an epilogue to, like, the priest in Fleabag? Where it's like, they're married and have a baby. Gag me. And I wanted them to get together in the end.
That is one of them. There's a romance story where it is like a priest and a woman, and then he like leaves the priesthood, and then in the end they get married, and it's like right because he's clearly great with vows, like they banged while he was a priest.
Are you sure that this book was not just Fleabag fanfic?
Maybe I didn't read it. This was one they talked about in that podcast where I was just like, that's one where it's like,
is that Heaving Bosoms?
So annoying. Yeah, it was Heaving Bosoms.
Just making sure. I know you've talked about it. I've listened to a few of their episodes, but I didn't quite get into it as much.
Well, I had a job where I didn't have to think a whole lot, so
yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, that's one of them where I was like, why would they do that? You don't have to get married. Okay, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, this is our most society one. It's going to be long, even with editing, because I think this is how the audience is going to get to know us, Emily. Get to love us.
Our banter.
Our sick banter. Okay, so let's wrap this show up here. I'm almost an hour and a half into recording, and we wrap up our show with our one true pairing scores. And I will admit I did not put a lot of thought into this one, so I'll let you go first.
Oh no!
Oh no! Okay, I can go first. I will give it 5 out of 5 Furbies. Because that's the thing that stood out the most to me about this show. That and gas masks. That or gas masks, I will say. Furbies or gas masks. And I gave it 5 out of 5 because they decided to be together, and I don't know them better than they know themselves. So there you go, right? Who am I to say that they shouldn't be together?
I think mine's almost right. Do I see it? Obviously.
Yeah.
It happened. Do I want to see it? Yeah, I was rooting for him. Is it hot? I think so. Yeah, like almost it's I think, yeah, because they get together. I think it tops out, right? Steve I think I had like 9 out of 10 for Steve and Eddie. So yeah, I think, yeah, they're like 10 out of 10.
But do you want to see more? Like in season 3, are you going to get beat over the head with how happy they are together? Or do you want to see another like, will they, won't they? Because I feel like once they end up together, there's not really more, right? Because then you just get epilogues.
No, I don't think they'll be in the next season. I feel like that because they have so many champions, I feel like next season what they need to do is like move location and then focus on another batch of champions and then maybe have like cameos. Like I think probably from Echo, I feel like he was underutilized. So maybe he goes somewhere, he gets his moment.
No, I think that's really smart. Hopefully the writers find our podcast and listen an hour and a half in to hear that. No. Yeah. And then take it.
And they have so many options.
Like 140.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get
10 out of 10. I have items, little ticking bombs.
Oh, like that Jinx was using?
Yeah, that Jinx uses, yeah.
Okay, so obviously this was a good couple. Shitty game, good couple. Just kidding. I like
good show, good couple. I support it.
Good. Okay, this is a feel good one all around. And even though they had their trials and tribulations, they came back together.
Yeah, I feel like the show left them in a happy moment. Yeah, I don't know if I need to
see them anymore.
See more of them, but I'm happy they're together. But maybe maybe in the fanfic where some more challenges happen. I also noticed a lot of fanfics where like, what happens next?
Oh yeah, because people want more.
What
they don't
new
want to
mystery
wait for
do they
the
need
new
to solve?
Because I mean, as much as I want them to take your advice, I feel like they're probably not right. Like they're just gonna beat to death the same characters that we know.
Yeah,
because that's what's gonna keep us coming back.
Right. Well, and they left the door open for literally every character. So
that's fair.
Even the ones that died, they could come back.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna adjust mine to 4.5 out of 5 because, like, to this point, like, do we need more of their story? Like, do you want to see it? Almost like take a spin on that. Do you want to see more of it? Because that's like like obviously Fleabag and Priest got a lot of that, like high score there, right? Because I wanted more. But do I really want to see more? Like, do I see it? Anyways, that's a long way of saying, like, do I want to watch more content? Am I going to go find fanfics about it? No, not for these two. I feel like they're good. It's just like different tellings of the same story in World War II. It's very creative. And if I really, really like the show, maybe I'd do it. But as a casual watcher, I'm like, nope, their story's been told. So that's why I dock them half a gas mask and or Furby. Okay. Well, is that where we're gonna?
I think that's good. We
time bomb
support
on it.
Yep.
All
I feel like
right.
we got a ticking time bomb. An hour and a half.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's wrap this up real quick. Okay, so if you want to let us know what couple you should do next, you can use the text in our show notes. It's a link. It'll text us. It's anonymous. You don't have to talk to us. Don't worry. We can't respond. And we're going to set up an email eventually. So send us your couples that you want to hear about. And, of course, leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks with another couple. Because, after all... Ship
happens.
Ship happens.